Y'all know what it is. Cocat in the building. We
And
always do the same. Come on, Darian. Why are you so late? Golly. Hey, as we do this, he's gonna get better. Right. I promise you guys.
All right. Hit me one more time.
Look what they putting on me when I was only doing all this shit to see it that we going. Guess I was wrong for trying to see it with my homies. I'm feeling wrong cause now I G by my lonely. I'm by my lonely, just getting money. I'm putting on but see somehow they say I'm phony. The love is gone and now somehow they hating on me. It hurt the most when it's somebody that should know me. It's just kinda wild to me. We was friends, now they can't get a smile from me. I gave an inch, they took so many miles from me. Without me mentioning how many miles I feed.
Y'all already know what it is. I'm Coach Cat.
This D Green, you already know how we rocking the Seals.
Hey, and this is Football Heads. Hey, we're not gonna waste any time. This is the Seals Top 15 National Team Spotlights, and today we're actually gonna be spotlighting the number one team in the nation with the Southfield Falcons. Go ahead, talk to them, Darren.
What can I say about the Southfield Falcons?
So much.
2022 had to be the year of unfinished business for those Southfield Falcons. Those Southfield Falcons came and started out early at Southern Hospitality. They came to Northern Hospitality, and they won most dominant at both of those events. But when I was watching the team early in the year, I was looking at their offense. And I was like, I wasn't too happy about the offense that they were running because it was more of a ball control offense. And I know with the athletes they have, they should be spreading guys out and opening it up more. And despite that, they were still dominating teams.
Yeah.
And then they reached that fork in the road again, which scared me. They peaked that number one for me on my rankings, but they defeated the West Side Steelers early in the year, but they end up playing them in the playoffs in a game that they didn't have to play, but they end up playing that game, and that game cost them. It was some controversial calls. No doubt, no ifs and buts about it. It was some bad refereeing out there, but nonetheless, they took an L to the West Side Steelers before going into regionals. And it was a wake-up call for them. It was do or die for them. We didn't know if it was going to end like it did the year before when they were upset by the St. Louis Bad Boys and they had to go to UIFL and win a national championship there. So that team responded. And when I say they responded in a big way. When you got playmakers like Christian Marshall and Cameron Sims, oh man, Cameron Sims exploded on the scene. He was a dominant player, and he dominated all the way from regionals into nationals. And Isaiah Marshall, which was healthy at the time, he started taking this game to another level. And from that point on, they started blowing everybody out. Once they opened it up and started throwing that ball more to Parker and Christian Marshall, they became a real dangerous team. And when they came into AYF Nationals, they were looking like the favorite in a loaded bracket, which was one of the matter of fact, it was the top bracket in the country, no matter what national you went to, because it was all top ranked teams, like the top 7 or top 8 teams in the country. It was at least 5 of them that went to AYF.
Okay, talk about a couple of their kids. I know, matter of fact, I know you got some footage. Man. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I got some footage from the most dominant player in 12U. This kid raised his stock nationally in the second round game against the Miami Garden Ravens. One of their closely contested games. The Ravens with one of those fast Miami defenses. The kid came out there. He ended the game with 3 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. And he basically took over the game. Matter of fact, he only had 1 touchdown, but he had 3 interceptions. And that was phenomenal against a team like the Ravens. And if you look at it, watch the highlights, because he's going to look like he ran the route.
Man,
That's the reason why those
I
Southfield
got
Falcons.
one of him too. You know that, right?
I know you got one of him. That boy, listen. That kid dominated, and he's the reason why his team won the national championship. He took his game to another level with some very, very talented kids that we think highly of. He took his game to another level. He was out there. You see him blowing kisses to the crowd. He's very cocky, but he backs it up. Like you go be like that, you got to back it up. He's more of a quiet guy, but when he scores and he's getting the best, and if you talking, he's gonna talk too. And Amir Parker is dangerous as well.
Oh, I was just about to get into it. Now, this team, remember again, Mr. Christian Marshall, one of the most impressive athletes that I've seen in a long while playing the receiver position. He was injured for a big portion of the year. So while he was down, go ahead and talk to him a little bit about the role players. Actually, to be honest, these kids are
Amir Parker, which is a twin. I hope I pronounced his first name right because his daddy told me his name. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. Amir Parker. He's always been a dominant player. I mean, he's moved a wide receiver, but he was a dominant running back the year before. And his game is just he's tall, he's long, he's explosive. Like you don't want to let him catch the ball and get any room because he's bound to take it to the house. And he's also an exceptional defensive player as well. You have to look around and make sure where you're throwing it at, you're throwing it in the right direction because he'll take one to the house. He's good at pick sixes. And Cameron Sims is one of the kids whose stock just soared nationally. I mean, once that kid sees a crease, you could kiss the baby, man. That kid got some afterburners on him, and he's electric in the open field. So shout out to Cameron Sims, man. He had a real breakout year this year. And the way that line blocked, and they got the kid Kennard Smith.
There he is.
Big body kid. He played left tackle DN. He just wherever he was, he made an impact on the game. So shout out to Kennard Smith and the team as a whole. It's a lot of great role players that they had that stepped up to the plate as well to go through that gauntlet of winning that national championship. But if we really look at it now, they added some of their local rivals players for the 2023 season. I'm gonna just show you who they added, man. Let me just show you that boy right now.
Oh, you're gonna show us who?
I'm gonna show y'all about my boy they added. This kid they added. He's one of the best kids in the country, running back, linebacker, and without him, the team he played on, he was such a big part of that offense and defense that kid never got plays off. But I'm interested to see how good he plays now that he doesn't have so much on his shoulders. You're going to have to account for this kid. I guarantee you that. They added some more kids from the West Side Steelers as well for their trenches. So they got bigger and better. They know this year 12U is one of the hardest divisions in the country. So many teams have updated. But enough of this talking. Let me get to my boy Grant Nelson.
That is the number 7 nationally ranked athlete in the nation, Mr. Grant Nelson. And they also added some West Side Steelers linemen. I seen in that play just then, it was somebody in there getting mauled, baby.
Hey, listen, I was standing next to them looking up at them. I was like, yo, and then they wasn't like flabby with it. Like they were big and kind of like solid. And you like, oh my God, they gonna keep going.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Up there has a lot of athletes, and when I'm saying athletes, I mean 2-sport athletes, basketball slash football players who are exceptional on both sides. Our number 1 athlete last year, CJ Sadler himself, just won I was going to say
basketball,
NBA.
the
The high school state championship for his high school team. So by all means, we know that there's athletes up there in the Michigan area. Okay.
Facts. Detroit is making a national climb that a lot of their kids are out here proving that they can play with the rest of the country. Up there is kind of been interesting because a lot of their kids end up going to high school very, very young, like 13 and stuff like that. So a lot of those kids don't really peak until they get to the high school level, and then you really see them turn it on. So that's the thing as well. But they're really holding their own nationally, especially developing those quarterbacks, which Austin Mitchell for Southfield Falcons is very, very good. If we haven't touched on him a lot, he's been putting up 40 touchdowns a year for the past 2 years. So he go throw that rock. He definitely go throw that rock. And from what I heard, he had a little competition this year of somebody coming over there like they didn't have a quarterback, and it woke up his competitive spirits, and
there it is.
Very focused.
I will say this. When it comes to Austin, I've always been impressed with him. He's always been good with placement, being able to put the ball where it needs to be, et cetera, et cetera. My concern before this year was his strength, his arm strength. You get me? His dad right now, the young man is about a good 5. I want to say 5'2", maybe some 5'3", something like that. But he's going to have a growth spurt. His dad is over 6 foot, and that is a cursor to always pay attention to how big the father is, etc., for us when we're doing evaluations to see how his potential may become. And by all means, his dad is 6'3" right now, so Austin will grow nonetheless. But the biggest thing that concerned me for him before this year was his arm strength. He was able to throw 40-yard darts, 50-yard darts to Christian Marshall all day long at nationals. So that rectified that problem for me. All right.
I'm looking forward to this big rare breed games. That's gonna be at Southern Hospitality on the
Friday night, all right.
Under the lights, baby, in Memorial Stadium.
So
you already know.
Wait, you said Southern Hospitality about to play? I mean, who playing
who? Number 1 versus. I had a listen, folks. I'm not gonna even cap on this. I made Southfield and Rare Breeze co-number 1s. And at Southern Hospitality, they have a chance to see who's going to be number 1. I don't know, but I know before Southfield comes to Southern Hospitality, they got to handle business with the Ravens. The Ravens want that bite back. Are they going to keep that bite, or they going to give it back? So now Southfield ain't coming in the season ducking no smoke. They want all the smoke. So their first 3 games are against championship staffs. Rob Mack hasn't won one with this group of kids, but stay tuned. We got a team spotlight on them coming too. I ain't gonna let the cat out the bag, but that Rare Breed and Southfield game is going to be 8:00 under the lights in Savannah. And if you were there last year for the Georgia Eagles and Miami Guard Ravens game, you know the atmosphere was second to none. It was electric, and we go do it again and have the kids in a big stadium. That's how we do it.
Hold on. That's not the only game they got at Southern Hospitality.
I know they got Primetime Elite on Saturday. Like, they got a gauntlet. Like, listen.
So we're talking about the D1 versus the D2 AYF National Champions. Facing off at Southern Hospitality. So if you guys haven't got your tickets to Southern Hospitality, baby, you better go ahead and do the darn thing because it's going down.
Oh, yeah, man. And don't forget to go to Donna's. Donna's got that real conscious soul food that you got to sit in front of the restaurant and eat it all.
You hear me? That's Southfield Falcons, y'all. That's the Southfield Falcons. But y'all already know what it is. I'm Coach Cat.
You already know this D Green representing Seal.
And this has been Football Heads, the Seal Top 15 National Spotlight. Y'all already? Holla.
See somebody say I'm phony. The love is gone and now somebody hating on me. It hurt the most when it's somebody that should know me. It's kind of wild to me.